he was enthralled by the eyeball in the middle of the head. Also, how does this demon have a skull? And why is he a Cyclops? What is happening? What is going on? I'm so confused. So, I'm going to be talking about the show Helstrom. Came out October 16th, 2020. Focuses on a family, the Helstroms, and all the drama that their family has to deal with. So, why am I talking about this? What makes me, able to talk about this? Absolutely nothing. I minored in digital media journalism back in college. Woo. But that's about it. I have just consumed so much content. I have watched so many TV shows, movies. I've read so much. I have so many books. And I've analyzed stuff before, in college for writing classes, for, analyzing literature and storylines and stuff. And I just have a lot of fun doing that because especially if you watch something or you read something and you're left wondering, what the heck did I just witness? It's very therapeutic to just kind of talk about it. So, I'm your basic human. I've got opinions and I want to talk about them. There will be talks about spoilers. I'm going to cover the entire series. So if you haven't watched the show and you want to, don't watch this if you don't want spoilers. There's also going to be some topics about some heavy stuff. We got topics about violence, abuse, trauma. We've got topics about sexual violence. So if any of those make you uncomfortable, if you don't want to listen to them, totally get it. Feel free to not watch this. Hello to the one person who is here, which is my family. Hi family, how you doing? Helstrom. Came out, 10 episodes, focuses on Damon and Anna Helstrom and their mother, Victoria. So before I even knew what Helstrom was about, I was seeing commercials of it on YouTube, and I was super interested in it. I love supernatural stuff. I loved the show Supernatural before it went on. Any type of supernatural or fantasy TV show or movie, I have consumed almost all of it. I'm sure not all of it. The very popular stuff, Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf, Grimm. I'm looking over because I have my shows here. We got Haven. We got our DC comics, Flash, Arrow. I was more of a Flash girl, less of an Arrow girl. So this was right up my alley when I was seeing the commercials. I was super excited. And I was like, cool, something new, something right up my alley. It's like supernatural, but darker. We got maybe a little bit more gore, maybe a little bit more, darker themes in it. Overall, the show was dark. I had a very hard time watching it with lights on because you couldn't see the screen. With my overall hope for the show was that it was just going to be something kind of new and kind of fun. And instead, it affected me so much in a way where I sat down and wrote full on, noteworthies. I could probably write a full essay about the feelings I have from this show. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to talk about characters and my thoughts on their kind of how well they were written, maybe, or how I felt about the characters. And then I'm going to focus on the storyline and how I felt that came across. And I'm just going to throw in here, I'm speaking specifically as just characters and the stories of these characters. This has got nothing to do with acting or anything like that. I have no qualms with any of the acting. I thought the acting was very good. I feel like this is writing. I feel like this is a writing problem where I'm not feeling the character as realistic. We'll start off with the main character, Damon Helstrom. Damon is your typical, male in a supernatural drama. He's dealing with his trauma in the only way he knows how to, which is to be snippy and closed off and be a total asshat to everyone. And we love him for it. Sort of. I liked how how upfront he was. I can't think of what I'm trying to say. With a lot of his stuff, and then how he was able to go, oh, I'm hurting people's feelings. I should probably apologize, maybe, because I do care for this person. So that was nice. But he just felt like the same character that we've seen in a lot of different shows like this. Anyone who's seen Supernatural knows Dean and loves him. Or you're a Sam person. But it's that same, the weight of the world is on their shoulders and they have to do everything. It's a very Dean character, he is very powerful. He exorcises demons. That's his stick. He feels extreme guilt over his mother and his sister. He's constantly called the traitor by the demons in this show. We don't find out why. He has a scar on his chest made by his father, and in the time that we meet him, he's an ethics professor. The big thing with Damon is that he put his mother, Victoria, in a mental institution because she is possessed by a demon. And so he feels extreme guilt about that. But him as a character overall, I don't know, the actor's very, very good. I liked him. I just didn't really feel much of a connection to Damon. Nothing bad, per se. He was okay. There was nothing special about him, which is funny because he's the main character of his story. There were better characters than him. I don't know. I felt like it could have been better with him. I don't know exactly what they could have done, but I feel like we didn't even get enough of his trauma and him processing that trauma. And it's very possible that this could be discussed in later seasons, but for this season, I just feel like it was Damon's the big guy and he has to deal with the fact that everybody hates him and that no one gets him because he's, half demon or potentially half of something, because we don't get a clear... Anyway, let's go on to Anna, who is probably my favorite character of the entire show. I literally have in here badass bitch. She was great. She has no boundaries and serious daddy issues and mommy issues. The poor kid is she got issues. She got problems. She was kidnapped by her father. The Helstrom's father is a serial killer. Was a serial killer? He's dead? That's questionable. And he messed up these kids bad. And he's a serial killer, was a serial killer who was a demon. I was a little unclear on that because the whole demon thing in general is actually rather unclear in this entire. But so Anna was kidnapped by her father and made to participate in some of his murders, potentially. When we first meet her, she's on her mission to kill a man. So we know that their father is a serial killer. She's killing a man because he was a serial killer and he was killing people. And so you're like, oh, okay, so she grew up to be a serial killer of serial killers, kind of like a Dexter type of thing, except Dexter didn't have a dad. He was just a psychopath. He did have a dad. Anyway, off topic. I really, really enjoyed Anna. Anna was a very fleshed out character, I think. She really, we really got to see her kind of grow through the season from being this cold person who hates her entire family to a person who is open with the fact that she does have feelings for her family, that she does care for them, and that she's willing to be a little vulnerable a little bit later, that she does care for her friends, and that she wants to protect them. I really liked Anna. She was great. I also enjoyed the multiple things that they were like, her fashion was her personality. That was just great. I just thought that was a nice little bonus. She also brought a lot of humor, I think, to the show. So Anna, top tier. We love Anna. We love Anna. We stand Anna here. Then we go on to Victoria, which is the mother of Damon and Anna, been possessed and institutionalized for 20 years. Now, here's the thing. I couldn't quite place while watching the show if she was possessed while she was married and was raising her kids, or if it was after the husband kidnapped Anna. I couldn't figure that out. I really liked what they did with her with the last couple episodes. At the end of it, she's unpossessed, and she's like, you know what? I've been dealing with this my entire life. I'm not going to shut down. I am here for my kids. We're going to protect my kids. And I just really appreciated that. I just thought that she was a good character. I enjoyed her scenes where she was fighting with Cathala, or the demon that was in her head. I enjoyed her. It was and I liked the scenes with her and Anna, because you could definitely tell that they were building that connection. All right, let's get into Cathala. She goes by Cathala, they call her Mother, and then at the very end, we get the name Lily. We go from Cathala to Lily. That's such a basic name. I liked Cathala. So she's the demon that's been possessing Victoria. She's the big bad of the whole show. She has children. She does not consider Damon and Anna her children. She's angry. She's waging a war against people who have oppressed her, who we don't know who those people are. And it's also very, like, throughout the whole show, they call them demons. And they say that they're like going to hell and stuff. But every time that you like exorcise a demon, they somehow come back within like 10 minutes. Not necessarily in that body that they were just exorcised from, but like they can just, it's very unclear what they are. But then they're also like referred to as entities or beings. But then they're also referred to as like humans. Gabriella goes, "You were once human," to a demon. And he kind of laughs and goes, "Ha ha ha, she's new." I was confused. And that might have just been me. That's wholly possible. And let's get into Gabriella, the novitiate, the nun in training. She's supposed to be the skeptical one, the one who, because she has like all of this background training and knowledge about demony things. I don't remember, because it's not really used past the third episode. She becomes very quickly like, okay, people got powers, demons are things, and let's do this. Like 0 to 100 real fast with her. One thing that they did throw in here was that she worked with nuns who were helping victims of sex trafficking. And so she had seen the dark parts of the world, like the worst that humanity could be. So we get that little tidbit, that little piece of, oh, she's experienced some hard times. So she can at least somewhat empathize with the fact that, you know, Damon and Anna got serious childhood trauma going on. That's all just kind of thrown out of left field and forgotten. I wanted more from her as a character. I didn't feel it. It feels more like she's just there as a means to an end. And then we have Dr. Louise Hastings. She's the psychologist who's been taking care of Victoria. She raised Damon, and this other person, caretaker, who I'll get to in a second, raised Anna. One of my big things about Louise was later on in the series we find out that Damon and Anna were kept from each other because of an organization called the Blood, who was going to just kill these kids because reasons. And by keeping them apart, that saved them. Reason unclear. And Louise kind of regrets her decision about keeping them apart, and she regrets her decision of not taking Anna in because she was afraid of Anna. And she admits that to Anna, which I thought, I just thought that was good. That was like a good moment. I liked her. Caretaker, who was the kind of looker after of Anna, he is tied to the Blood, the organization. He's just kind of that figure. He's there. He and Louise have a little bit of a courtship. That I thought was cute. I liked that. You could immediately tell there was like that connection between them. And you can tell that he cares for Anna that he views her pretty much as a daughter. He doesn't seem to have feelings about Damon. he kind of thinks Damon's a bit of a jerk. We don't get why. And we don't get why Damon doesn't like Caretaker. My second to favorite character, Chris Yen. Fabulous. So he's the quirky best friend of Anna. Anna kills people. And you know what he does? He helps, because that's what best friends are for. Best friends help you kill people. Chris was just a breath of fresh air. You get all these like really dark, deep-seated trauma people coming in, and then Chris comes in, and he's wonderful. My favorite thing about him was when he starts being embroiled in the deep, deep drama of the Helstrom family. He can eat dead rats, but dead spiders, no, that's too far. I loved him. He was great. He made me laugh. Let's get into the story. This is going to be so long. I have so much to say. We have the main storyline that Victoria, the mother, is possessed. Damon is trying to free her, and then the father of the two seems to have come back from the dead because of Cathala. What I was assuming was going to be, kind of like a progression of things leading up to maybe the reason why Cathala was possessing the mother and stuff, really started about like third episode, and we didn't get so much of the fun, exorcism banter that the first episode seemed to provide. So that was a bit disappointing. The show overall felt very familiar. It has all of these elements, and it feels like all of these elements from other shows, like Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, Twilight, Prodigal Son. I'm going to bring Prodigal Son in here because, and it's possible that there's other shows about, serial killer families and stuff. But Prodigal Son is the one that I'm going to connect to because it's the father is a serial killer, and the son and daughter kind of deal with that issue. Haven't finished that show, but it was good for what I was watching. And that I really feel connects with this because it's, again, father was a serial killer. Son and daughter have to kind of deal with the effects of that. It's just more so in this case, father was also a demon. I can't explain it. I wanted more from it. I felt all the familiar aspects of it, but I wanted more. And I feel like we didn't get that. Yeah, the whole demon thing, I still don't understand that. If somebody else got it, great. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. That is wholly possible that I am reading way too much into the demon thing. But we got Cathala singing in Icelandic, talking about how when she lived, the villagers killed her son. He came back and killed the entire village because of these people. That she's been possessing people for like a long time. That all she wants is to be alive. And then there's also the issue of her one son being a mouth. I don't know what happened there. But like Damon can't be possessed, we learn, because he's a demon. I don't know. He's got powers. So does Anna. So Anna and Damon seem that they cannot be possessed, but he becomes possessed because Cathala shoves her son's mouth into his back. It's a very alien feeling type of thing. Like I don't know. Like it was weird. It didn't feel like, it felt like they were expecting us to understand what they were coming at, but they were coming with all these different things, and they kept calling the demons entities or beings. And I'm probably reading way too much into it. Cathala called Damon and Anna first generations. I still don't know what that's about. I don't know if that means that they're a first generation human demon hybrid, if that means that there's more than them. I don't know. I don't understand. With the whole singing in Icelandic thing and Cathala constantly talking about her family, it made me think of Vampire Diaries and the originals, how there was that original vampire family. I really thought that this was the angle that they were going. Like this was the original family of demons, which I still think that they're doing. I think that they're still kind of going in that direction. Okay, so there's also this thing about, marking humans for possession, which means like an upper level demon, just kind of cut them open made a nice little on them and somehow open them up to possession. But it also seemed that you could be possessed without that. We get the wonderful, scary demon guy of the son of Cathala, who has the same energy that their father has, Anna and Damon's father. So Anna believes that her father is back because Cathala made her believe that. But in fact, it was Cathala's son, whose name I don't know, and I'm not going to look up because I don't care. So it's very unclear if Cathala is actually somehow related to Damon and Anna, or if it's just because their father is a demon. I don't know. But that one was weird. His spine opened. His ribs opened. He ate people. Honestly, that was interesting. I would have liked more of that. I would have liked more scenes where he was just eating people. Still really don't know why. He wanted Anna. We don't know why. He wanted Damon. We don't know why. He only wanted one of them, though. Everybody kept calling Anna Button. And I don't know if this son of Cathala was calling her Button because he wanted to convince her that he was her dad. That was so confusing to me. We learned that there's these keepers who are demons who keep other demons. But then Chris turns into a keeper because he was enthralled by the eyeball in the middle of the head. Also, how does this demon have a skull? And why is he a cyclops? What is happening? What is going on? I'm so confused. I don't understand. What? But now to get to the reason that I had to make this. And that is what they did to Gabriella. I'm so mad at what they did to Gabriella. Okay, so Cathala has been possessing the mother for a long time. There's a knife thing that the dad used to scar Damon. Damon broke it in half. Anna has a really hard time touching it. So does Damon, because they both feel this energy from it. And is possessed by this monster beast, Cathala's son. They're both okay, we need this sword, this knife thing, to kill the demon in me. We get a really fun scene of this poor actor just throwing himself across a room. There are just some times when I watch scenes and I can't help but think about the poor actors. And like I said, the acting was really good in this. I liked it. But there's moments like that where you just watch this man just from one wall to the other wall. And I can't help but to think how many times he had to do that. I wondered if he had dancing knowledge, because there was a little bit of a flash of jazz hands. Anna has one piece of the sword or the knife, and then she goes to her mother, Victoria, who's possessed by Cathala, and is I'm gonna stab you with this thing because it's gonna kill you. We have no knowledge of that other than the fact that it can hurt Damon and Anna. So they're okay, it must be able to kill demons. I don't know how we came to that conclusion, but they are we're going with this. We are running with this idea. With this idea. Instead, Anna suffocates her mother. She dies. Cathala leaves the body because once the host dies, the demon's back to wherever it came from. Earlier, Gabriella got marked accidentally by the sun. Cathala goes into Gabriella. Victoria survives. She's cool. She lives. Demon free. Woo! We get this all of a sudden relationship with Gabriella and Damon that kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, because you knew it was going to happen. You got your main girl, your main guy. It's TV. They're gonna get together. But there was no real build up on Damon's part for that. We got a real fun scene of Gabriella in a confession booth being asked, how Damon made her feel, and she admits to having thoughts, impure thoughts. But that was really about it. We didn't get any tension between them. We didn't get any kind of like flirtation. All of a sudden, we're like one episode before the end of the season and Gabriella's making moves. She like takes her hair out of a clip. But then she realizes, oh shit, she's been marked. She gets possessed by Cathala. Cathala, now in a young body, manhandles Damon. That was an uncomfortable scene. Shoves the mouth of her son into his back. And then Cathala says there's one more sacrifice to be made. And it is heavily implied that Cathala's son possessing Damon, that him in Damon's body and Cathala and Gabriella's body. I'm so happy they didn't show that, because on so many levels of weird and uncomfortable, that would have been peak high. I'm still uncomfortable with it, because that's just straight up the word that you can't say on YouTube. No one in that consented. You got two parties possessing and using these people, and I was uncomfortable with that. And you find out it's so that Cathala can be born human-ish, because Damon is part demon or whatever, so clearly she's gonna have abilities, I guess. Why did this have to happen? Why did this have to happen? And oh god, just the end of it, Cathala is born. Damon is like okay with this child. What? There's a flaming sword? Where did that come from? It got so... The last episode just completely threw me. We got a flaming sword that both he and Anna can wield. Actually, I think it's a pitchfork. Which then started me going, wait, is their dad a good guy? Because he was the one who was holding it. And this talk about war and them being oppressed. Was this a demon who was killing demons? What? But I don't think that's the case, but it threw me for a loop, for sure. And this can be used to send these demons back to hell or potentially fully kill them. I don't know. It also heals people of their marks, because this one guy had an eye thing and he was fine. So Gabriella gives birth to this child and she's not okay, which I don't blame her. I don't blame her for not being okay. The storyline goes, because she gave birth to this demon and she knows it's a demon, because the thing was trying to crawl out of her alien style. She is like, I had a moment of lapse in my judgment and God is punishing me. What? When, in all intents and purposes, I'm pretty sure this would have happened even if she hadn't been making moves on Damon. They just wanted to add that to kind of ruin that moment. Why did they need to do that? It just felt cheap. It felt cheap. That's what you're going to rip from the viewer, is a moment of potentially Damon and Gabriella getting in a relationship together when it really wasn't a clear thing in the first place. And you're going... It felt cheap. It felt very, very cheap. I was not a fan. I left that episode feeling so many things, none of them good, and I just was not okay. And I started watching Evil, and I've been having so much more fun with that show. Overall, I've pretty much just given an entire summary of the show without anything else to add except for what? It was confusing. It didn't, the main characters, if you're going to give me Damon and Gabriella as the main characters, I want something more. And how are you going to take the nun who worked with sex trafficking women, trafficking victims, sex trafficking victims, and have her not consent and have the man that she was into not consent, make a demon baby. What? 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 And how is Damon okay with this? I'm so confused. And I'm angry. I'm angry. I have nothing else to add. I didn't really add anything. I just had opinions and a lot of thoughts on this. If they make a second season, I hope that they clear up a lot of the confusion. A lot of the confusion is more than likely just me reading way too much into a show, but that's what I do. So come for me. I don't care. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I want to know more about the demons and that whole family thing, because good old Papa showed up. Got more Supernatural vibes because I'm pretty sure that actor was on Supernatural. I'm pretty sure he played a dad figure there too. And he was like, I'm Papa and this little girl is Lily. And poor Chris was just left there to just watch people die. I was like, man, Chris, they did you wrong. I have in here hopes for future. I don't have hope. They were like, all right, Gabriella's been scorned. She's going to join the blood, even though 3 episodes ago she was completely against the blood. That felt so cheap. It felt so cheap and wrong. And that's it. I have been talking for a very long time. Those are my thoughts on Helstrom, the show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, good. If you enjoyed the show, great. I hope you liked it. I hope season 2 is better. All right.